Hi people, Daniel from Devil & Sons Guitars here, and today is the first video in a series of 6 in which I showcase the guitar I built for the Great Guitar Build-Off. So welcome those of you who are new to my channel. I'm Daniel. I build guitars under the name Devil & Sons. Actually, mainly what I do is customize guitars for clients where we work together to realize a guitar that really matches their dreams. Now that could be as simple as giving a guitar they own a paint job, but often it involves totally renovating the guitar, basically scratch building onto it, carving into it and changing the design in some way. In the background behind me here is a guitar I customised for Dr. Gothic. It's our first guitar that we worked together on. He basically came to me with an idea of a steampunk kind of design that really suited his music. His album had just come out and he wanted something that really matched that. So we had a back and forth designing it. And for the Great Guitar Build-Off, I decided it would really make sense to work with somebody to show the collaborative process I often go through in making a guitar. So what better than to work with Dr. Gothic again? So before I actually get into the design for the Great Guitar Build-Off guitar, for those of you that don't know about the Great Guitar Build-Off, it was a competition that was set up last year by Crimson Guitars. The idea was a few YouTubers would compete together to build guitars and viewers would be able to vote on it. But what ended up happening is a mass of people inspired by watching these competitors built their own guitars in what became an unofficial build-off. Now for this year, there are still some invitationals from YouTubers, well-known YouTubers, but there's also people all around the world, like myself, taking part in the competition. I've decided to focus on a kit build guitar, which is one branch of the competition. And that's because, like I said, I often customize guitars, so it seemed to make sense to use a sort of parts caster in some way. But some people are building from scratch. Some people have never built a guitar before. Some people probably haven't even done any woodworking before. And some people may be really experienced, but haven't really done anything on YouTube before, because this competition isn't just about building a guitar. It's about building a community, spreading the word. And therefore, there's a lot of videos coming on YouTube and a lot over on Instagram. In fact, if you followed me on Instagram, you would have seen the photos of this build as it went along. Now let me explain how my design process works. It often starts with a conversation or an email. In this case, Dr. Gothic emailed me and said, I'm very interested in commissioning a new guitar for my Dr. Gothic project. My new album is a futuristic sequel. This concept album looks into reincarnation, the idea there is no time or infinite parallel universes. I need a futuristic guitar covered in prisms, lenses and mirrors. Again, it can be a bit battered or worn looking, but essentially a white mirror look, maybe a flying V. And he also sent me this image from the film The Lighthouse, an image he really liked as a bit of inspiration. I like to work with mood boards to develop ideas, so I often ask people to send me lots of images they were interested in. In this case, I kicked off the mood board because I said his description really reminded me of the Fortress of Solitude, Superman's hideout, his base, made from a fragment of Krypton, and it basically built in the ice, a big cave where he could go, he can research, he can be safe. So I sent Dr. Gothic loads of images and he said that was exactly what he was after. The next stage though, I started to think about how it could be built. And I'm really interested in cosplay. I watch a lot of cosplay making videos. They inspire a lot of my guitar customization, which is often very sci-fi and movie related. So I sent Dr. Gothic some images of people in cosplay, close-ups of the sort of texture that I thought might work, blue crystals with ice on them, these sort of swords. But he basically said maybe it was going a bit away from his initial idea of thin, transparent crystals, that really futuristic look and not that ice look. So then I sent him some images basically of different types of acrylic that I could get hold of. Acrylic rods, acrylic diamonds, just acrylic shapes that I could cut up and stick onto a guitar for him to create this flying V look. I also sent him some images like these, which are basically indicator lights from cars that I thought we could use in some way. The next stage is to draw up some ideas. Now I knew he wanted a flying V type of guitar, so I started with a quick sketch with these crystals at the back. I used the blue again, but just to indicate the idea of them being transparent. At this stage, the V on the guitar isn't symmetrical. The top horn's a bit bigger than the lower horn, and I wasn't sure if that is exactly what he wanted. So I also tried flipping it and making a mirror version where the top and bottom were absolutely identical. But then I want to give multiple options. So in the same email, I sent him 4 images. As well as having the top and bottom identical, I had them not matching, but filling up a similar sort of area, similar sort of volume. Not quite like the first image where the inner bout was a bit lower. And then I did a dime bag Darryl inspired with points coming off of each side design. Emailed this across to him for some feedback, and he preferred the third design with the top and bottom being equal, but not quite the same shape. So I sent him a version of that, and we discussed it a bit and decided we'd moved away from that idea of mirrors. So then, inspired by the Shattercaster guitars I made, guitars where I embed broken mirror into the body of the guitar and sometimes onto the scratch board as well, I decided to put shattered mirror across the surface. Anyway, that's how the design process worked. Now, what you've got to look forward to in my forthcoming videos is the whole process of making it. I've decided to divide the videos up into a series of videos. The second video after this design one focuses on how I've made the body. Here's a quick example from it, focusing on when I've embedded the mirror into the surface. That's the second video in the series. The third video looks at the painting of it, and that goes from painting details around the mirror that's on there to spraying the guitar in the different coats that I used, from the primer, the chrome undercoat, the white on top, and then the relic finish that went onto it. Then I have a whole video which focuses on the neck from the start to finish, including embedding into the neck itself shattered mirror where the fret markers would be. And then the fifth video in the making of series looks at the assembly of all the parts, basically sticking the neck and the guitar together, putting the components in, and in this case, combining two pickups into one to make a humbucker. And then there'll be one final video, a final video where I show what the actual guitar looks like when it's done. But I'm not going to tease that here. You're going to have to wait for that or see my images on Instagram where I've covered a lot more than I have here. I've already made the videos and I'm editing them now. I've got over 20 hours of footage and I'm going to use almost all of it, but each of those videos is going to be between 10 and at the very most 15 minutes long because I want them to be bite-sized and easy to access. That means multi-screening, sped up, time-lapse, all the things to really get across how it's made with a voiceover talking about my techniques. So do stay tuned, like, subscribe, hit that bell if you want to see when they're coming out. My aim for the schedule is every Tuesday and Saturday for this month, July 2021. And don't forget to follow all the other competitors. You can find them on the Great Guitar Build Off website. So until next time, happy strumming.